Taurus, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for August of 2015. My name is Athen. So, a very busy month, actually, especially for you Taurans. A lot of activity in your third house, which is about day-to-day stuff, day-to-day routine, but a lot of transits, a lot of important transits at least, in the astrology. And it starts off right on the 1st when we have Saturn going direct finally. There's about 5-month retrograde period there of going back into your 6th house. So he recently went back in here last month. So there was something, and that's still the case this month while he's here up until the 29th, of finishing up some things in relation to your health, your diet, your routine, making sure that that part of your life is nice and structured and disciplined and taken care of, which is, of course, what Saturn's all about. So when he goes direct, usually we learn something new about that area of life. So reflecting on maybe the health and diet and putting energy into that from that point forward would be really good energy to work with for the bulk of this month. So that's on the 1st and 2nd. Then on the 3rd, we've got that Saturn squaring up to Jupiter. It's actually Jupiter squaring up to Saturn would be a better way of reading this transit. And Jupiter, he's a benefic, so he kind of lifts up and lightens up the energy a little bit of Saturn. There are kind of polarities there. But here, it is a square, so it's about working towards it. And what you're working with here, again, with the health and stuff, is in regards to perhaps, or at least what can assist you there, is in regards to taking care of the correspondence, maybe perhaps, your communications, how you're thinking about things. These are two mutable houses, so it's very much about thinking, understanding, conceptualizing, because there's a lot of energy taking place in your 3rd house. That's where we're going to have the new moon actually here this month on the 14th. But with Jupiter here, he's been here for the whole past year. So there should have been lots of opportunities here for you to expand your communications. Again, whether it's a broad understanding more about wisdom, understanding more about philosophy, about spirituality, astrology, things like that. And so all that stuff that you've learned during this time with Jupiter here, that wisdom that you've gained, and maybe even opportunities here to connect to your siblings or with peers and things like that, or what you've learned, can assist and it can be supportive towards this routine and health or whatever it is, the service work, your daily work, can be a work environment and stuff. So actively working towards this stuff is the way I would read this. This is the first aspect between these two planets. It's going to be an ongoing theme between now and May of next year. So, Jupiter here, with the square is work at it. Now it'll be about relationships, next month and onwards with this aspect. But this month it's about the health, the routine, the diet, and stuff like that. So working on that stuff I think will be good this early part of the month. So that's around the 3rd, and at that same time, Venus does go retrograde back into your 3rd house. So there's some things to finish up and to learn about how you're communicating, how you're learning, stuff like that, your siblings, whatever it is for you, 3rd house, exchanges, marketplace. And Venus is showing you what you can enjoy more perhaps about the daily environment there and correspondence. So reflecting on that stuff is always a good idea, because Venus retrograde does show us where we can really enjoy this stuff and what it is we enjoy on that inner level. So relating to learning, communicating, reading books, taking a course, stuff like that. So that'll be the major energy this month with her retrograde there in your 3rd all month. So that's at the beginning, that shift going from the 4th house. It was a retrograde about your emotions last month, but certainly about this communicative stuff in the early part. Then on the 4th through the 7th, these first few days of this week here, or actually I don't know what part of the week, but it's a few days here in this early part of the month, Venus is conjoining up to Jupiter. And then there's this sort of 3-way conjunction that sort of unfolds all the way until the 7th, when Mercury starts to get really close to the mix, as you can see here, this 3-way stellium. And what's interesting is that while that happens, both Mercury and Jupiter go into your 4th house. So there's this definite shift. Especially with Jupiter's, it'll be subtle, but there's going to be opportunities and expansion in regards to your home, family, past roots, your sentiments, things you're sentimentally connected to emotionally. And so for the next year, any new opportunities in regards to those things, certainly make them into a reality, or at least you can generally for most of you. So see those opportunities, make something of them, and there's certainly that definitive shift here in August in regards to that. With Mercury there, it's certainly about, working at it. I think the financial stuff could be quite nice because Mercury does rule your second, so it's expanding that. Jupiter is. Your sense of self-worth, your confidence, your self-esteem, I think should be quite high as well, generally speaking, around this time. Self-expression should be going quite nice, I would say. And yeah, that's Mercury. And then Venus, this is your ruler. So a conjunction up to Jupiter here. I think you guys are probably feeling quite optimistic about things. And maybe it is about maybe these new beginnings or things shifting up about either your communications or learning and courses, things like that, or maybe in regards to your home and family and past, or both, because of so much activity here at the bottom of the chart. So see that, make something of it. It's a nice three-way conjunction, I would say, for sure, all in Leo, which is about self-expression. Venus is about routine and stuff too, so some good things coming in there, maybe from work or whatever it is. So that routine stuff, though, while that's happening, Saturn is forming a lot of aspects this month, and one of them is that he's going to be squaring up to the stellium while it's taking place. So this is a reminder that, with this, this expansion here, to continue to, build and take that routine seriously, and that health and the diet or your work or your service work or your crafts at work, whatever it is. And that there then will be constructively working with this very nice stellium at the bottom of your chart here. So that's this whole 4th through the 7th, and right around the 7th, Mars trines up to Saturn. So there is support from Saturn here in the sense that you can be quite motivated actually to perhaps do a lot of these things relating to the health and diet and routine. And also likewise, Saturn is helping you discipline your communications this month, because while that happens, Mars is going into your 3rd. Now keep in mind, this isn't the best position for Mars because he likes to be at the top of the chart. So it's important here to channel the Mars energy into things like journaling, writing, communicating, exchanging information, day-to-day stuff, which is not a natural element of Mars to be doing those things. But if you can find the channel, and especially if you're feeling, it's hard for you to calm the mind and things like that too, going for a run, going for exercise, things of that nature. But in either case, supportive with Saturn here, you can channel that into the routine, and you can also channel this discipline to maybe do some of this learning or writing or communicating, etc. Maybe spending time with your siblings, exchanging with others. It's a social kind of a house too. So that's around the 7th, and and then Mars will be in that 3rd. And then around the 12th, Mercury opposes up to Neptune, who is going to be this important consideration this month and next month when all these fast-moving planets oppose up to Neptune. Neptune's been showing you the importance of trust and faith in regards to your work and career, and going with the flow there, and perhaps even giving and contributing through your work and career as well is a good way to work with this. So with that being said, now with all this activity of your 4th house, it's the classic example of balancing whatever this stuff is with home and family, with the career stuff, with the work stuff, the public life, and finding the balance and peace with that, and non-attachment. With all these slow-moving planets, it's about non-attachment, but with Neptune, it's like surrender. It's like trust and faith that everything's unfolding, how it's meant to, both with the career and the home stuff. But I think you should be quite optimistic about the home stuff. But finding the middle path here will be an important consideration about pretty much this whole middle part and actually late part and into September of the month. But around the 12th, that should be triggered. Now on the 14th, we've got the new moon, and this new moon is in that 3rd house of yours, so there certainly are some new beginnings shaping up about your communications, how you're exchanging, teaching, all that 3rd house activity. Venus is very close by to this new moon, so that's going to be very nice. What you enjoy about these things. With Venus here, really ask yourself what it is you enjoy about all this communication, learning, and games even is sometimes seen from the 3rd house as well. So new stuff there. Reflecting on this around the 14th will be a good way to work with this energy, so the energies can flow onward into the rest of the month. Then all's quiet in the astrology up until around the 21st, when the sun goes into your 4th house. So now more activity of the 4th, more passion here. Now the sun, keep in mind, is also, it's exalted in Leo, so it's going to be generally for all of us quite nice. But for you, it's your 4th house. So here, again, just like Mars, the sun likes to be up here. So focusing on and putting passion into home and family and past and roots and things like that will be a really good way to work with this and finding that passion, because we are going to have a conjunction between the Sun and Jupiter here on the 26th happening in there. So more, expansion and possibilities relating to these fourth house matters, whatever it is for you individually. And that's going to be quite nice for all of us. Now, the important thing with that is, again, this whole sort of transition into the fourth is squaring up to Saturn. The Sun is. So this later part of the month, mid-later part, take it slow, stay disciplined, remember the work stuff, routine, stuff like that. And as long as you're, willing to put in that hard work energy, which is Saturn, it can certainly assist and can be worked very constructively. So that's the 26th, that conjunction. And right around that same time on the 26th, Mercury goes into your fifth house, which is where your north node's been, and Mercury's going to conjoin up to that north node on the 28th. So that's all about life path, which has been this year for you guys to express yourself, to have fun, to really ask yourself what it is you're passionate about in life and excited about. And here Mercury can help you really understand that and really conceptualize it, and maybe even make it a part of your daily routine, and Mercury does naturally rule your fifth house because he's going to be in dignity here. So a very nice placement of Mercury. You can certainly understand more about passions and things like that going into September. The things that you put a smile on your face is essentially what the fifth house is about. So that's the 28th and 29th. Saturn goes back into your seventh. Whoops, let me go and change that. All right, so then 29th, Saturn goes back into your seventh, where he's going to be for the next 2.5 years. So the important thing here is being willing to, work on relationships in that mature way, in that grounded way, which is Saturn. And that'll be a good emphasis. It's actually a good house for Saturn. And he's going to go into Scorpio, which of course is about the deeper connections. But for you Taurans, that's just naturally how it is. Your relationships are meaningful, they're deep, they're raw, and so Saturn there will help you build those strong, mature, grounded approach to those matters involving your one-on-one connections and things like that. So that's the 29th. Then we have the full moon on the 29th here, taking place. Let's see, actually, let me back up. Taking place right here in Aquarius in your 10th house. So this is a culmination point now for you guys in regards to your career and work, especially over the past 6 months. So for those of you who've started new beginnings with your work and career over the past 6 months, this can be a culmination point, but at the very least, an awareness point, and an awareness of, because Neptune's here, an awareness of what it is, that is really meaningful to you on that deeper level, because Neptune's been showing you not only how to give and contribute in your work, but helping you align to a work that is more meaningful to you. So anyways, that's highlighted, and so I'd really be reflecting on that stuff around the 29th, and it can be a culmination of these career-related things. Now, going into next month, I just want to cover this briefly. We have the 30th and the 31st and 1st. We've got Venus conjoining up to Mars, which is the classical yin-yang energy here in your third house. So taking a lot of what you learned about communications and learning and stuff like that and implementing it. Again, Mars will be here, and this conjunction can be quite nice, where you can certainly put in a lot of the stuff you learned during this retrograde into motion and into action involving that third house. Now, also on the same time period, the Sun will be opposing up to that Neptune, like I was saying, a lot of these oppositions here that are going to be unfolding off and on for the next couple months, reminding you to stay balanced again with the excitement or whatever it is that you're focused on and intent on with home and family, remembering that there is that career stuff and the needed balance with that. So Taurus, I hope you guys have a nice month. Thank you again for all of your support. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to Sidereal, do check out the website or the description, because this is different from traditional Western astrology. Your sign might be different. And if you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. All right, take care, Taurus. See you next time.